Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Harding, and tonight we have a very special guest. This basketball head is a Paul Robeson great who played with the likes of Shamel Jones, Eric Williams, Allen Griffen, Todd Myles, Kenyatta Brown, and Dwayne archbold. This team will go on to do great things and become PSAL city champions in 1997. Also, all seven will go on to play Division I basketball. A great job by the late, great Coach Majors, R.I.P. He will be proud of this basketball head because he went on to play at Iona College under the great coach Tim Welsh. At Iona, he was part of an amazing run, winning 3 out of 4 MAC Conference championships. He then had a stint overseas playing in Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Luxembourg, and Holland. He now reigns as head coach of Summit High School, where he is trying to turn them into one of the major powerhouses in New York City. Without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Paul Robeson great and Iona College standout, Phil. My man Mo Grant.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. 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 Go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. 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 East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
We good.
All right, yeah, because I'm out on Long Island right now at my mom's house. So I
Okay. No doubt. We getting it right. So Mr. Do It All, this should be a good one, man. I admired growing up. One of my all-around players, Mr. Sherrod.
What's up, Big
my
Top?
God.
Yeah, that was one of my coaches at Robeson. I was like,
Yeah.
Right there.
No doubt. So I definitely want to start to say big up to Chuck for making this happen.
All right.
Yeah, he was telling me about you for a minute, man. Very, very proud of you, man. Very proud of you.
Yeah, that's my uncle, man. He kind of the one that put the ball in my hand growing up. Like I grew up watching him play.
See?
So that's how I got the ball in my hand.
Well. Let me just ask the question first, and I'll ask all my guests this: who introduced you to the game?
My uncle Chuck. Yeah, Chuck.
There you go.
I grew up playing baseball. So then when I got a little older, Chuck started taking me around with him. He was playing with Kenny Kings at the time. So I used to follow him around, watching him in all his games. So that's what introduced it to me.
No doubt. And what part of Brooklyn you from?
From Bushwick, Brooklyn, Bushwick Projects.
That's right. And you fell in love with the game young. Like, was you kind of, when he put the ball in your hand, would you kind of like saying, nah, Uncle, I'm playing baseball? Or you took it and ran with it?
So now baseball was my first love. I played baseball first, but I think I kind of just outgrew baseball. Like as I started getting taller, and then baseball wasn't really too popular in the project, so everybody was playing basketball. So once I got to like middle school, like 7th, 8th grade, that's when I really took it serious. Actually, 7th grade.
All right.
Yeah, 7th grade is when I really started to take it serious.
So not only was your uncle, he served as a mentor for you as well, your Uncle Chuck.
Yes.
Good.
Chuck,
So
I mean, again, that was my uncle. He was playing ball, so my bad.
Guys, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. What you said?
No, I said yeah. So Chuck was my uncle. So naturally, I just wanted to follow him around. Like Chuck was cool. He was always fly. Then he played ball. So yeah, I just followed everything Chuck did.
No doubt, man. And who was the best player in the neighborhood at the time?
So it was a guy named Jermaine Smoke. He lived in my building. I don't remember what college Jermaine went to, but he went to Van Arsdale High School. Jermaine Smoke.
Yes.
Jermaine Smoke was that dude. He played with Deron Rippey at
Yeah, I know exactly who you talking about.
Yeah, so
he from the neighborhood.
My building.
I thought he's from Queens. I thought he was from Queens.
Nah, Smoke from Bushwick Project. I lived on the 2nd floor. He lived on the 5th floor.
Got you. All right.
Was that dude?
So you told me you played with Coach Rob, right?
Yeah, Rob's my guy.
Now, Rob, is that the same Rob who was the star point guard at Grady High School with Pat Alphonse?
No. Rob, he's a streetball coach from Sean Bell.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
Not that Rob.
All right. So you grew up playing with Kenny Kings as well, like your first summer leagues. What were the first summer leagues you grew up playing in?
Kingston. Kingston was the first place I played. Then I played in the 8-ball. So yeah, I played in all the local tournaments around the way back in the days. But that's when Kingston was tough back in the days. So Kenny Kings introduced me to Kingston. So I played Kingston, 8-ball. I think that was really it. I played in the hole a couple of times, but the hole I wasn't ready for the hole at the time. So I only played a couple of games or so in the hole.
Hey, listen, people got to recognize there's level to this basketball thing too, right? People is like, I'm going to jump on the main stage. Nah. You got to work your way up, fam. And then once you feel like you're ready, people will let you know when you're ready. And your confidence has got to be there as well. But the people start reeling you in like, yo, you need to come over here, sir.
I mean, but by the time I did get ready for the hole, that's when it was over. So I never really got to really be myself in the hole. So by the time I came up, it was over with.
Right. So what junior high school did you go to?
I went to IS 49 in Williamsburg. But we weren't really that wasn't really a basketball school. We didn't really we had a team, but we didn't really have a program. We didn't do much.
And listen, I know I'm still talking. This is still baseball time, right? Yeah, I know. And now, did you go to Robeson because you wanted to take up a trade, or you wanted to go to school? Because it wasn't basketball at first.
So I was going, again, I tell you, Jermaine Smoke lived in my building, so I grew up watching Smoke. Then Mike Thompson, he was another really good player from Bushwick Projects. He went to Van Arsdale too, so I was going to Van Arsdale. Smoke went there, Mike went there, so I was going to Van Arsdale. So I was playing with Brooklyn USA at the time. So literally like a week before school, Ziggy came to my house. Ziggy came to my house. He told my mother, he said, yo, if you want
Salute Ziggy. First of all, hold on. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna say this. No matter where I'm at on the basketball scene, that guy is somewhere. He's somewhere in the crowd. He's somewhere with a player. He's just always there. So I want to say salute to Coach Ziggy, man, for always being there for the young guys out there.
So Brooklyn USA, Brooklyn USA was tough back in the days. Like we had, back then it wasn't a million AAU teams like it is now. So back then, if you was from Brooklyn, you played with Brooklyn USA. A few of the guys went uptown to Riverside and the Gauchos, but now you got 10,000 AAU teams. Back then, you had to be nice to play for Brooklyn USA. We had a lot of killers on that team. We was tough. Like, it was tough. But like I was saying, so like literally like a week before my freshman year of high school, Zed came to my house. He told my mother, he said, yo, if you want your son to be somebody, you would send him to Robeson. And that literally changed my life. Yeah, he told my mom flat out just like that. He said, if you want your son to make something out of his life, send him to Robeson. And that was the best decision I ever made in my life. Like that changed my life right there.
Listen, people have no idea what a great coach Coach Majors was, right? Now, I'm not even talking about the other stuff. We just going to talk strictly basketball. We talking about strictly basketball. That's all we talk about on Basketball Head. That's it. Yeah. We leave all other stuff for that. Mm-hmm. But when we talk about preparing kids and getting kids to play together, and finding raw talent and making it into something. A lot of guys didn't go to Robeson as stars. He made a lot of those guys.
Yeah, yeah. And then also another thing he did. So this wasn't like Robeson wasn't a school where we had guys from Uptown, Coney Island, Queens. Everybody literally came right from the Sty or Brownsville. Like he kept it in house. Like you look at some of these schools,
That's right.
they had players from all over. Everybody from Robeson was either from the Sty, Brownsville. I think that was it. The Sty and Brownsville. The Sty and Brownsville. We all came from right there. And like you said, Mage, he developed every one of us. Like, and then we had so much talent on those teams. Like, I don't think people really remember or understand how good those Robeson teams were. Like, Todd Myles was like the first big point guard in the city. Shamel Jones is still to this day the best player I've ever played with. Griffen, who went on to Syracuse. He's the assistant coach at Syracuse now. Jameel Watkins went to Georgetown. Eric Williams went to UMass. Syracuse, then went to UMass. We had some players, man. Kenyatta Brown went to East Carolina. Dwayne Arsdale went to Siena. We had a lot of players at Robeson. And even after I left, we had the Gary Irvins, Malcolm Grant, Delroy. Robeson was tough, man. Robeson was tough. We had
so much talent, man. So much talent. I used to watch you guys and be proud, like knowing that the PSL is still gonna be strong and still rocking because you guys held it down, man.
Yeah, we did. To be honest, in my 4 years, I can't remember too many games that we lost in the city. Like I can't remember too many teams.
Oh, we're gonna talk about one. We're gonna talk about one, but we're gonna talk about one for sure. For sure. I want to salute to my guy A Game. He just gave you a shout out for sure.
A Game, appreciate it. Couple of my
Listen, man.
Here too. What's up, Tyler, Mel?
That's right. And I'm gonna let it be known. When I first started my show, I reached out to my guy over at A Game and asked him about the process. Yo, how can I save my videos? And he took his time. He video chatted me. You know what I'm saying? And showed me what he can. And then I kind of figured it out. Right? But I always remember that and appreciate that, brother. So salute to you always.
That's what's up.
For sure.
A Game.
That's right. So we gonna get to that one game because we got some things to talk about. Right? So with so much talent on that team, did you have an inkling of a chance to really make it in your mind? I know you did, but in your mind, did you have an inkling of a chance that you think you would make it?
Make it. When you say make it, what do you mean? Make it where?
Make the team, fam. It was too much talent on your team. You was a baseball player. You wasn't, 8, 9 years old running in the basketball camps. You wasn't playing early on. You was knocking the ball out the park.
So
you go up to high school and you become part of this amazing team. How does this happen?
So, I didn't just walk in and play for the team. I played JV my freshman year. Yeah,
Got
I played
you.
JV my freshman year. Then once we got to the playoffs, then Mage moved me up just so I could get that experience of going through the playoffs, winning the championship with them. So I definitely wasn't ready. I didn't actually play until I was a junior at Robeson. Like my freshman year, I did really well on JV. My sophomore year, he had already moved me up to varsity, but I didn't play much. But just being in practice every day with all those guys, like my game developed pretty quick. Because again, our practices were tougher than the games, like literally. Like every day in practice, I'm going against Shamel, Allen, Kenyatta. Then Ty Sherrod, who's also on here right now, our assistant coach. Ty literally kept me in the gym every single day after practice. We would have games, and he would keep me in the gym getting extra shots up after games. So we had a really good staff, like not just Mage, but Ty, Coach Chad, like they worked us hard. So after that,
Wow.
I knew I was gonna be ready. I knew I was ready. And even then, when I wasn't playing, Mage was still pushing. Like I played in the super sophomore game. Like he had me in all the camps. So even though I wasn't playing for that team, like I was still playing at a high level, even outside of Robeson. Like Mage made sure he put us all in right situations. So once my junior year came out, I knew I was ready.
And look, kudos to you because you could have like really quit, right? Say most guys in those situations, they don't want to, take those steps to become great, right? They want to skip the process. And you appreciate the process, knowing, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work and I'm going to earn my way, knowing what you had in front of you.
Yep. And also, like Coach Ty said, the summer from my sophomore year to my junior year, I grew 4 inches that summer. So I left being 6'3", I came back 6'7". So from there it was, and then the way our team was set up, like we were all really good friends. So it's like we stayed in the gym with each other. So like Ty said, it wasn't no quitting because we were literally all together all the time. Like Mage had us in every park. He had us working out every day. So we were literally always together. So again, everybody at Robeson was going to develop because we were just so tight. Like that was like a family atmosphere.
And y'all did it without playing a whole bunch of AAU, correct?
I mean, we played a lot of AAU. We did. We definitely played a lot of AAU. But another thing we did, we used to put our high school team in AAU tournaments. Like I'll never forget, we played in IS8 the year we won the IS8 championship. We played against the Panthers, and this was just our high school team. The Panthers was stacked. They had
Tell me about it.
Speedy Claxton. They had everybody.
Woo!
Wally Zerbiak played with them.
Woo!
We ended up beating them in the championship with our high school team.
Right. Well, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all build the camaraderie on the team and the brotherhood, right? And that turned into championships later on.
Yes.
Because a lot of guys, they leave and kind of, you know, come back and they team see a different player and it kind of don't fit into that little mix anymore.
So that was another thing that we did at Robeson that you don't see anymore. Like there was no transfers coming in. Like we weren't getting guys coming in for a year or two. Like we all came up together. We all left together. Like everybody stayed at one high school. Like we didn't do all that bouncing around and mixing and matching. Like we had our core guys and that's what we stayed with.
Are you like that now as a coach?
Yeah, so everything I do, like I live my life that way. Like I'm just real family oriented. I'm loyal to who I mess with. Like my two assistant coaches now, Shamel Jones, Eric Williams, we played together at Robeson, and to this day they're still my best friends, and we're all still together. So we to everyone who went to Robeson, like it's hard to understand it if you didn't, but we're all still like family to this day. Like we're all still like family to this day.
That's real. That's real. Listen, man, ain't nothing like family. And when you can build on that and kind of build with the kids that you're giving, right? If a kid want to come to your school and he said, you know what, I like the way this coach is. I like their program. I like their style. And also I'm going to give me an education, quality education.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, that's first and foremost. Like that's even coaching now. Like I have kids now. So some kids are struggling with the online platform. But those kids, when you work out, like I let them practice, but those kids know they can't play. Like you're not doing what you need to do in the classroom. Like basketball that's out the window. And I think that's what a lot of kids and even coaches, they don't stress the importance of the education first.
Yeah, we have a lot of schools that are winning games, but they sending kids to college.
Exactly. And that's the goal, though. The goal is to get these kids to college. Like that's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I salute guys like Ron Phelps over at Bedford and Will Jackson at Banneker, where I know, you can't even play if you don't have an 80 average. Like, and I was talking to Rob the other day. He said, guys always talk about me like, yo, Rob want these kids to reach such a high goal, but he go, yo, but if a kid stumbles, at least he still has a chance to qualify if he stumbles a little bit. But if I'm just asking him for bare minimum and he struggles, he's done.
I don't even understand how anybody can question that, because that is making
crazy.
These kids live. Even like especially in the climate that we're in right now, there's no kids were able to get in without their SAT scores. But some of these kids, their GPAs were so low, like they missed out on a great opportunity because they had low GPAs. So what Rob is doing, even if it's tough on these kids right now, is making these kids' lives so much easier, and they don't even understand it. Like these kids, and so I don't understand how anybody could question what he's doing. Even Will, like I remember two of his best players last year weren't playing because their GPAs dropped under 80, so they couldn't play. But you got to respect those kind of coaches. You got to respect.
Yeah, that's my guy Will right there. Yo, listen, you have to, and I love it, because it holds our kids to a higher standard. And I'm telling you, sooner or later, everybody's gonna catch on to the wave and say, you know what? If everyone is working at that same pace, we all have a chance to bring New York City back to where it was before, but at a different level. Right now, we're going to these major universities, and packing the house, or even creating mid-majors and making it fun to go to, right?
Like one thing, like going back to Mage and my time at Robeson, one thing Mage made sure we were all prepared as freshmen. Like everyone that left Robeson was eligible to play as freshmen. Like we didn't have JUCO kids. We didn't have kids that had to go and sit out a year. Mage, he always said, my job as a high school coach is to make sure you're ready for college. So every one of us were able to go and play as freshmen because we qualified academically.
Yeah, definitely.
And now
that's always big.
Kids got to go to prep school. Kids got to go to JUCO because they have no grades. Like we didn't have that problem at Robeson. Like we never had that problem. Everybody was academically eligible as a freshman to go and play.
So let's talk about that snowstorm.
The Blizzard '96.
Well, what was that your senior year? Oh, no, it was the year before '97. Good. The Blizzard '96. Let's talk about that. Who was y'all playing, and what went down?
We played.
If the world missed out on this.
Yeah, we played Tim Thomas in St. Pat's. We played them at the Garden that day. It was an Adidas Super 6 tournament. It was 3 teams from Jersey and 3 teams from New York, and we had the last game playing against Tim Thomas. And again, I don't know if a lot of your followers are young. Maybe they don't remember who Tim Thomas was, or even they remember in high school, Tim Thomas was a beast. Tim Thomas was a beast in high school.
Bam. My audience, they know who Tim Thomas is.
Okay, all right.
You know, I got a lot of OGs on my feed, man.
Okay,
definitely.
And it wasn't just him. They had what's kid? Not Reggie Freeman. His last name was Freeman. He ended up going to UConn. What's the kid now? I forget the kid now. I know his last name was Freeman. He went to UConn, and they also had 2 really tough guards that were there at the time. So that was a really good team. They were actually nationally ranked that year. So that was a really good team. And we ended up.
So tell me about it, man.
I mean, so I don't remember, and you know, it's so crazy. My mom, like I'm at her house now. My mom has all of those old tapes. Like she has all those old tapes, but I just never really had a chance to look. Kevin Freeman, there we go. Somebody just said Kevin.
There you go. Yeah. Appreciate you.
Kevin Freeman was a beast, so that was a really tough team. Now we ended up beating that night. And Big Mel, yeah. So Shamel Jones, who ended up going to Georgetown and Memphis, he gave Tim Thomas a run for his money that night, man.
Woo! Hey, that's my guy off the block. So definitely, let's give some love to Shamel right now. Shamel Jones for kicking Tim Thomas' ass. Oh yeah.
Out here, they shut schools down. We literally went to the Garden and played through a blizzard. Like that was a real blizzard, not a snowstorm. That was a blizzard.
Oh, no doubt. I remember.
That day.
And I was surprised that game still went on too.
Me too.
Listen, they paid for it. They said, listen, we paid for it. We might also play.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great event too. Like it was a great turnout. In Robeson, we looked good that day. That was a real good day for us.
So now y'all got your confidence up. Y'all like, well, we beat, Patterson Catholic, these All-Americans and future pros. We taking the city championship this year.
That was the plan, man. That was definitely the plan. We had the team to do it. Then we saw New Utrecht, man. I had a
listen. First of all, what was the beef between Robeson and Lincoln?
So the year that they beat us, which was my sophomore year, we won the B division chip my freshman year. Then my sophomore year, we went back to the Garden in A. So to this day, I still stand on. We had a man for man. We had a better team. Like we were the better team that day. But Steph was just different, man. Steph was just different. And again, not taking 530 was a killer. A guy who was a difference maker in that game. I don't know if it was a kid named Bucci. I don't even remember Bucci's real name. Little Bucci, little guard from Coney Island. Bucci was a difference maker.
Got you.
Like Steph,
it's the person you least expect.
Yeah. Bucci was the difference maker that game. He was definitely the difference maker. Again, Steph was Steph. 530 was 5, but Bucci, we didn't expect him to do what he did.
Yeah, what a great game.
So I think that's what it was. Like that was a tough one to swallow. And again, I was a sophomore. I wasn't really an intricate part of that team, but that was still a tough one to swallow. Sean Reed, yep.
So what? Oh, Sean Bunch. Okay. So when did you start to come into your own?
My junior year. I think my junior year was my breakout season. Yeah, that's when I had my breakout season. Like, I actually ended up signing with Iona. I think it maybe it was like, I'm not sure if it was the end of my junior year or the beginning of my senior year. It might have been the end of my junior year, but that's when I had my breakout season, my junior year.
Your junior year. And your junior year, you start to come on your own, and you grew a couple of inches. You feeling yourself.
Yep.
Who was the first person who asked you bus?
I don't know.
Somebody had to catch the beat and let you know what? I'm going D1 and I'm signing now. So who caught that ass whooping?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't specifically pinpoint one person because I don't know. I was putting in work the whole year, so I can't even pinpoint one person. Yeah,
that's the answer a coach would say because his team might be watching. Well, I gave it to everybody a little bit.
I mean, that's what it was though. Everybody got a little bit. Like, I know our best games, the games we had most fun was playing against the High. Like, those were our most memorable games, playing against boys and girls.
That's the rivalry. That's the rivalry.
That was a rivalry. Both right here in the style. So that was a rivalry right there against boys and girls. So those was our best games. But yeah, I can't pinpoint one player. But another thing with those Robeson teams, we was all tough, but nobody, I mean, I can't even say that. We all kind of stood out. But we didn't have nobody who averaged 25, 30 points because we were so deep, like everything was balanced, like it was all spread out. Like we averaged 16 here, 14 here, like nobody make Allen, because AG was the only one who probably averaged 20 or more. But everyone else, it was like balanced out. So I don't think nobody else besides AG averaged more than 16, 14 points for us because again, we had 6 Division I players on that team. So it was like we had to spread the love. Like
definitely.
Everybody played their part. Everybody was unselfish. Like, yeah, we had no egos on the team. So it was spread out. It was spread out.
Lorenzo Harrington said Phil was a killer, was an AAU killer in his own way. So do explain that.
So I played with Brooklyn USA. I had a couple of short stints with Riverside and the Gauchos, but AAU is probably where I made my mark at before I had the breakout year at Robeson. Because I had a good AAU summer. Like we went to I played really well in Adidas big time. We went out to Indiana. I played really well there too. That's when I started picking up a lot of interest. Like that summer is when I picked up most of my interest.
But you had to take it from someone. I know they was watching someone who was like, "Yo, who's this kid?" And what made you sign with Iona so early, knowing you had just senior year ahead of you?
They just made me feel so comfortable at Iona. Like Steve DeMayo, he was the one who recruited me. He's the assistant coach at St. John's right now. Like it was Iona kind of gave me the same family feeling that Robeson gave me. Like it was really tight up there. And then I knew I had a chance to get some minutes walking in as a freshman. So my freshman year, I ended up playing like 12 minutes a game. But again, we won the MAC championship my freshman year. I played a big part in that as well. So I just wanted to go somewhere where I knew I was going to be able to play right away. And that as well, Lorenzo, like I didn't want to be too far from home. Like So I was a mama's boy. Like my family was really important to me, so I didn't want to be too far away from home. Being at Iona, my family and friends were able to come to all my games. So it was just a good fit. And then it worked out. Like I had a great career at Iona.
Well, look, one of my biggest regrets is not choosing Iona.
Really?
because they wanted me bad, right? You know, you get the handwritten letters, right? These was coming like every week.
Wow.
And the coach was very interested in me, and I kind of passed on them. I wound up going to Fairleigh Dickinson.
Okay.
But definitely, Iona, definitely a good school, good people. And I had that same kind of feeling about them as well.
Mm-hmm.
That they had that tight knit.
So even Iona, like some of my best friends to this day are guys I played at Iona with, Kashif Hamid, Tariq Kirksey, Dyree Wilson, Nakia Miller. Like I literally had the same feel at Iona that I had at Robeson. Like those guys are still my best friends today. And another thing I noticed, all the best teams I played on is where we were really tight. Like all the players were tight. And in Robeson, you never seen one of us without the other. Wherever you saw Allen, Shamel, you saw Phil. When I got to college, it was the same thing. Me, Tariq, Kashif, like we were like thick as thieves. And those are the best teams because we liked and cared about each other so much, we fought for each other. Like every time we stepped on that court, like in practice, we fought against each other. But once we got on that court, wasn't nobody else it wasn't not a player nowhere that you couldn't foul nobody too hard, like you couldn't talk. Like we was all for each other. Like we was all down for each other. And those are the best teams I played on.
Well, D Glove, that was going to be my next question, and I appreciate you for bringing that up. What other schools reached out to you besides Iona?
So Bill Self was at Kansas. He was at Oral Roberts at the time. Like I went into the visit out to Oral Roberts. Jay Wright was at Hofstra at the time. I took a visit to Hofstra. Pitt came in late. Like I had some big schools come in late. Pitt came in late. Actually after my freshman year at Iona, I played on the college all-star team with Billy Bano was the coach. Jason Terry played. Eugene Eggerson, Greedy Daniels. Bano actually tried to get me to transfer to UNLV after my freshman year, but I wasn't going nowhere. But yeah, I had a couple of big schools come in late. Pitt was probably the biggest school that came in late. St. John's never came at me. Like St. John's never offered me. I never had an offer from St. John's. But again, Oral Roberts was the furthest I went, but that was just too far. Bill Self was a great guy. Like hearing Bill Self talk, it's hard to turn him down. Same thing with Jay Wright. But Oklahoma was just way too far. I was not going to Oklahoma. And once Norm went to Hofstra, I like, well, me and Norm at the same position, so I'm not going over there. So that was just the easy choice for me.
Yeah, it said you need to make the right choice 3 out of 4 going to the tournament. You can't beat that. That's so real. And I preach that because I didn't go to the right basketball program. Went to the right school, wrong basketball program. And I find that to be, consistent with a lot of other ball players. But I praise those guys who picked the right school. And your players should take note of this, right? Yes. Because you are loyal. You come from a loyal background, was taught brotherhood, was in a position where you kind of could have left Iona in the cold. Because you put yourself in a bigger platform, right? And other schools started to come. But freshman year.
Yeah, sorry.
Right. And especially they telling you, like, come on, son, we got something better for you. And you stayed. That tells me a lot about your character, brother.
And the head coach left. Like Tim Welsh was my coach my freshman year. So again, we had a really good year. He ended up leaving and going to Providence that year. So then Jeff Rulin took over. Jeff Rulin and Tone Childs. Shout out to Tone. Tone is my guy. But he ended up leaving. So I played for Jeff Rulin and Tone Childs my last 3 years at Iona. Shout out to my guy, Jay Young, Go Yanks 11. That was my point guard.
That's right. Iona. We had Tony Childs on here. Salute to my guy.
Tone was my guy, man. Like I
sure.
love Tone, man. Tone, to this day, Tone is still like a big brother to me.
That's dope. So I want to move back a little bit, right? Because I know we jumped ahead a little bit. What was so special about that 1997 run?
The 97 run?
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't lose a game in the city that year. We didn't lose
one
game. Nobody in the city beat us that year. We didn't lose nobody that year. My junior year, we lost twice. We lost one game to Canarsie, and then we lost a game to Rice. My senior year, nobody in the city. Nobody wanted no smoke in the city that year. Nobody. We didn't play Rice that year. We wanted to play them again, but we didn't see Rice again. But yeah, nobody in the city wanted. Nobody in the city wanted.
Now, do you think that kind of affected y'all up in Glen Falls?
What happened in Glen Falls? I can't even remember what happened in Glen Falls, to be honest.
Y'all lost to Long Island Lutheran by 3.
Yeah, we lost
by
3. See, I didn't even remember.
Yes.
I knew we lost to Lehigh.
53-50.
Yeah, I knew we lost to Lehigh. I don't remember. I honestly can't remember that game. But you know what's so crazy though? For us at the time, and it might sound a little silly, but winning the city championship was more important.
Yo, you don't gotta tell me, fam. I know.
Yeah.
I played for Lincoln, right? We won it in '86. Now let me ask you a question. How many games did y'all have to play?
We're in Glen Falls?
Yes.
I think 2. Yeah, I think 2. We played 2 games.
Because every year they kind of flipped it. When we played 3. We won the city. Then we had to play Kenny Anderson and them because the Captain School played against the PSAL. Yep. So we beat Kenny and them. Then we played Our Savior Lutheran. And then we played King Rice and them for our 3rd game.
So that 3rd game, was that the championship or the semifinals?
That 3rd game was the championship.
Okay.
Remember, once we got to Glen Falls, it was 3 games. And I think they kind of alternated. One year they played 2, then one year the city team gets a bye.
Yeah, because I know we had a bye, so we only played 2 games. Yeah, we only played 2
right.
games.
Trust me, bro. If you go down this New York State basketball list and you smart, which I think you are, you start to see some fishy going on. Like, hold on. This don't look right. After a while, you start scrolling down, you're like, is this a pattern going on here? Or somebody doing something purposely? But anyway, we'll talk about that another time. But I was definitely looking at that 97 year, and I wanted to see did you guys win the state. But like you said, here in New York City, winning the city championship is way tougher than winning the state.
Yeah, like we cared way more about the city than the state. Like we playing at home. We had the garden in front of all our family, friends, everybody, the whole city. So we was more focused on the city. Granted, we wanted that state as well. I'm not gonna say it front and act like we just went up there just or whatever. We wanted to win it, but I mean we weren't too down about not winning it. I wish we would have, but we still came home feeling like champs.
My man Sherrod. So let's talk about being at Iona your freshman year. How was life for you transitioning from high school to college?
So I tell everybody from my junior year at high school to my freshman year at Iona, those 3 years was like one of the best stretches of my life. Because when I got there, I had just came from winning a high school championship. Then I got to Iona on another stat team. That team was really, really good. And we ended up going on to win the conference championship that year. And then that year when we won, we ended up playing Syracuse in the first round of the NCAA tournament. My 2 best friends from high school went to Syracuse, so I got to play against my 2 best friends my freshman year of college in the NCAA tournament. So I couldn't have wrote that like you couldn't have wrote that script any better. Like you couldn't have wrote that. Like literally, me and my 2 best friends from high school get to play against each other in the NCAA tournament.
That's awesome. And who did y'all beat in '97 in the city championship?
We beat Forest Hills. Rest in peace.
Forest Hills. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, they have my guy Chris Sandy, RP Chris Sandy. Chris Sandy was my
definitely
guy.
RIP him. How good was he?
Sandy was tough. He ended up going to Fresno State. Sandy was tough. Real tough. Smooth left-handed point guard.
Salute.
Shoot. Yeah, Sandy was my guy. Definitely RP Chris Sandy, man.
So now you there with Tim Welsh. Life is going good, and then he leaves. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I was thinking, should I stay or should I go? Like, cause Welsh was my guy, but Coach Rulin, Rules had to be the coolest assistant coach ever. Like Rules was Rules was the man.
Oh,
Like,
so he was already there. He was already there with you
Rules was
guys.
there already.
Oh, okay, I get you. Got you.
Yeah, so it was hard to leave. And then when Tone Childs came, yeah, it was over. Like I knew I wasn't going nowhere when Tone Childs came. And we found out Welsh was leaving. We were up in the MAC tournament. So right before the championship game is when it came out that he was leaving. So it was all over the papers or whatever. Like literally the day of the championship game is when we found out he was leaving.
But when he left, y'all ain't miss a beat.
We ain't miss a beat. We didn't. I mean, we lost in my sophomore year. We lost in the quarterfinals my sophomore year. Who did we lose to that year? I think, matter of fact, we might have lost to Fairfield. Yeah, I think we lost to Fairfield my sophomore year in the quarterfinals. Every year we lost in the quarterfinals. In high school, we lost in the quarterfinals. And here we lost in the quarterfinals. Yeah, we lost to Fairfield in the quarterfinals.
Y'all lost to Lincoln in the quarterfinals?
No, not Lincoln. We lost to Lincoln in the championship.
I know. I just wanted to throw a little jab at you. That was so good. But look, bro, being at college and playing college basketball, I don't care where you are. You win the conference championship, you good. You win 2, man, you done had you a good career. You win 3 or 4, man, now you talking.
That's hard to do. I mean,
people don't realize how hard that, I don't care what level you on, small, major, mid-major, it's not easy to do.
No, that's hard to do. I mean, Iona just did it again. They just won 4 in a row. Under shout out to
Woo!
Yeah, they just won 4 in a row. So before last year, me and Nakia Miller were the only players in the conference history to win 3 MAC championships. And then last year, Iona ended up winning 4 in a row. So yeah,
wow.
It's hard to win 3. It's hard to win 3 conference championships. It's hard, especially coming from a small mid-major school. Like that was tough to do. But we basically ran the MAC. Though my years at Iona, we ran the MAC. Like shout out to Manhattan, Maris, but we ran the MAC.
I see you taking pictures in the Naismith Hall of Fame. What is that about?
So Iona, the MAC conference, they have an exhibit inside of the Naismith Hall of Fame. So every year they choose 2 players from each school, 1 female and 1 male player from the school, and add them into the honor roll. And this past year I was inducted into the MAC honor roll. So at the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of my career. Like that was dope.
And to be there, you can take the picture. It comes with a plaque and everything for the 2 players that come enshrined.
Yeah, I'm at my mom's house now. Hold on. I got a bunch of kids out here, but I want to show you this. I want to show you the plaque real quick.
That's dope, man. This is dope.
My mom's got all my good stuff.
As she should.
Yeah, my mom.
As she should.
The plaque right here.
Wow.
Yeah,
bring it down, son. Let me see. Bring it down. No, bring it up. So I can see it. There you go. There you go. Wow. Salute.
Yeah.
Make some noise for that right there, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, man.
And so another thing I stress to my players now, from high school to college, I was never the best player on my team. Like in high school, I wasn't the best player. College, I wasn't the best player. I was always one of the focal players. I was always the second or third best. But again, I was not being the best player. I scored 1,000 points in college. I was all city in high school, not being the best player. College, made it to the Hall of Fame. This all came from me just working hard, me playing the right way. Like I just did everything. Like I was just a complete player, and I was a complete player, teammate, and it just felt good to get recognized for that. Again, not being the best player on the team.
Give me some more light. There you go. Cause there you go. Man, listen, bro, I can relate. I was never the leading scorer in Lincoln, MCI, or Fairleigh Dickinson, but you couldn't win without me.
That's a fact.
You couldn't win without me. All of my coaches to let you know that, for sure.
See, Rose.
So man,
brother. So I got another one of my. So this guy right here, 3-2-1 fundamental. That's T Rose. When I got to Iona as a freshman, he was the first, like literally the first guy on the campus, one of the older guys. I think he had graduated. He was doing the 5th year when I got there. T. Rose, he took me under his wing from a freshman. Like
Nice.
he kept me in the gym. Like he told me what classes or what professors to take and not to take. Like he showed me the ropes at Iona. Like he kept me in the gym, every day. So he was that was my guy right there. Shout out to T. Rose.
Salute T. Rose. Listen, every basketball team needs a T. Rose. Every basketball team needs an OG to show the new guys the right thing to do. Because you can get pulled in by some assholes or some dudes that they feeling threatened and not tell you the right thing to do. And it can lead you in the wrong way. Right? So salute to my guy.
When I came in Iona, we had a really good recruiting class, right? It was about 7 of us that came in. Out of the 7 of us, only 2 of us finished. Like only 2 of us finished. A couple of guys got kicked out of school, got their scholarship taken away from them. So a couple other guys got in some legal trouble. So that is really important to have that, to have somebody put you under the wing and show you the ropes. Like you definitely need these OGs out here. Even now, if you look at the climate and what's going on out here now, like you need, if more of these OGs in the streets took the time to talk to these kids and give these kids some guidance, the streets would be a lot different.
Yeah, but they take the weak way out, man, and say the kids ain't gonna listen. You didn't listen to them, but they took the time to at least say something to you. You gotta take the time.
Exactly.
And going back to what you said, brother, my incoming freshman class, it was 4 of us. I think I'm the only one that graduated.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. And another thing these kids don't know, these college coaches, they're taking a scholarship is only 1 year. Like they renew it every year. They'll snatch that scholarship from you. Like you come here and not pay attention, that scholarship gets snatched from you. So these kids need to know that. Like your scholarship is for 1 year. Every year they renew it. They will take your scholarship from you.
Wow. So give me a game you had in college where everything you felt like was working. You know, it was just this one game where you just like all of the lights, like the Kanye song, all of the lights were on and you were just clicking. Give me a game.
It was 2. One, we played against Canisius. I think that was either my junior, I'm not sure if it was my junior, senior year. They actually the player for Canisius, Clyde Bentig, he's the assistant coach right now, or the associate head coach at St. Francis downtown. Clyde was there. Clyde was tough too, but that was probably my biggest shining moment in Iona playing against Canisius. I ended up having like a 27 points, 12 rebounds, and like 8 assists. I just missed a triple double, but that was one of my best games. And then we played against UMass my junior year. That was another big game for me.
At UMass?
No, they came to us.
Okay.
They came to us. Every year we played Hofstra home and away every year. We beat them every year. Shout out to my guys, Norms. We beat them every year. But
my guy Mark Petit is on here from Utrecht, and he went to Hofstra as well, played with Speedy.
So Mark was part of that team that beat us my junior year at Utrecht. Mark was part of that team. Mark was part of that team. How good? Mark is a close friend of mine. How good was Mark in high school, man? Mark was tough. Man, we didn't have too many big guys back then. Mark was one. Mark was dunking everything. Mark protected the rim, and he had another big guy with him, Hassan Diaby. So they was like the Twin Towers back then. 2 big guys. It was tough to beat Utrecht. It was tough.
Wow.
And then they had another big guard, Darius Waters. Darius from Marcy. Darius was tough too. Tough guard. He was another big guard. Darius was about 6'3", 6'4", tough. So Utrecht had a tough team. They had a real tough team.
Wow. Okay. It said Phil had that Penny Hardaway inside out. Ooh. Damn, so you was dangerous, man. Woo!
I mean, I was a 6'7" guard. Like I was 6'7", I played the 1 and 2. So I had to post up some. Like I definitely had to post up. I couldn't just be 6'7" all out on the wing. So I played both. I did inside and outside.
Who did you model your game after?
I was a big Scottie Pippen fan. Like, and Penny was my favorite player at the time, but I was a big Scottie Pippen fan. I think that's why.
That means you like defense. That means you like defense, fam.
Oh, I locked up. So you couldn't play at Robeson if you didn't guard. Like, I don't care who you were. If you didn't guard, you couldn't play at Robeson. And then when I got to Iona, we literally used to argue about who was going to guard the best player. Like, every team I played on, we strapped up. So I had to play defense.
Yo, Phil, I just tell my audience, right? Because I mentioned this a few times. What is like playing the best player? Like, because I want the smoke, good or bad. Like, either you're going to bust my ass, but I want to be involved. I don't want to be the dude watching the dude getting all the action.
Everybody not built for that. Everybody not built to take that challenge on. Like, you got to have pride for that. Like, I tell all my players now, defense is about heart. That's something you have to want to do. Like, you got to want to go out there and strap up. So to take on that challenge, like, I love now when I watch my players play. If somebody killing us, I love to see the player that's going to step. Coach, don't worry, I got him. Switch, I got him. Without me even saying nothing. You love those kind of players. And then the way we came up, we took that upon ourselves. Like, Mage never had to tell us, yo, you good. If we knew we were playing somebody, like, we got excited. Like, another thing I tell my kids, these kids now, they become fans of their peers. Like, we were fans.
Man, listen. What? We don't got time for that.
Nah, man.
We don't got, listen, fam, I'm going to tell you right now, and I say this all the time, brother, I wanted the smoke. And if my coach, if I knew my team had my back and I could face guard you and have to worry about nothing but a pick, but I knew my team had my back, you were shut down. That's
a fact. That's a fact. Like, I took pride in defense. In college, that's what kept me on the floor a lot of time, my defense.
Yes.
Because I was my senior year, I had a point in my senior year, I only finished averaging 8 points. So I had I played 37 minutes a game. So my coach is like, even when I was struggling offensively, he couldn't take me out because I locked up on defense. So I always brought something to the table. Like, it wasn't all about scoring. Like, this is what I try to explain to my son now, because my son plays for me. I try to explain to him, your shot is not always going to fall, but you got to be able to do other things on the court. Like, you got to be able to defend, rebound. If you can do those things, you'll be valuable to any team.
Listen, once kids, give me some more light where you at, Phil. There you go. I think once kids start to realize that there's more to basketball than putting the ball in the hole, right? I'm going to give you an example. And I use him because he's a great example and a great guy. Also now a great coach. My guy, Terrence Renchak Creighton. Right? Terrence spoke to me and he was just saying, yo, G, here I was, Mr. Basketball in New York. Then I go to Texas and become all-time leading scorer. And then I come to the NBA and they need me to come off the bench with a few seconds left or a minute here. And I couldn't do it because I wasn't mature enough at the time. I was still feeling that I should be in there where the action was, not knowing I had to wait my turn. And then each level, and especially on that level, you got to start over.
Yeah.
And we know about starting over in college, but when things are going right for you so much and you get to that next level and guys tell you, all right, sit 47-something minutes of the game and come in the last 30 seconds, but bring that same energy like you were starting the game. Not knowing somebody is judging you on those 30 seconds.
Yep.
And I think a lot of kids don't even see that. Like, you know what, coach? Even on the high school level, if I come in the last minute or you got me coming in the last 30 seconds of a half, I got to go into the scores table like I'm a starter.
Yeah.
And give that time.
When I call for a sub now, if my kid not jumping up, running to the table, I just tell him go sit right back down because you don't want to play bad enough.
Facts.
Last weekend, my son, he was Unsigned Hype, had a showcase. Shout out to Unsigned Hype. So as we're in before the game started, they're doing warm-ups. So I'm just seeing kids going through the motions. So I had to pull my son to the side and say, yo, people are always watching, whether it's the layup line, warm-ups, they're watching everything. So when you're trying to get recruited or you're trying to go to playing in major high school or get to college, they watch everything. Like every time as soon as you lace those sneakers up, you got to be ready. Like there's no going through the motions. There's no taking no plays off. Soon as you lace them sneakers up, you got to be ready to go. No matter what it is that you're doing, run and get water hard. Like everything you do it with a purpose. Like everything you got to do with a purpose.
That's so real. That's so real. Coach Will Jackson said, "Run or sit."
Run or sit. That's it. Run or sit. Those are only options. Run or sit. If you're not gonna go at somebody who maybe not as talented as you, if they're gonna give me what I need and go as hard as I need, that's who's gonna play. Like that's who's gonna play.
Yeah, I had this kid on my team I coached a few years back, and he didn't care what kind of time he got. Whenever his name was called, he ran to the table like his life depended on it.
Yeah.
And we thought, he was just trying to front for us, but he did it every game.
Mm-hmm.
And we tested him sometime and brought him into the last couple of seconds of the half, and he still went hard. So you tell this kid loves the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and coaches love that. Coaches love kids who love the game. Kids, that's the worst thing to have to tell a kid is about their effort. No coach wants to coach effort. Like that's taken away from me teaching you. If I gotta fight with you to go hard, that's taken away from me teaching you. Like I can't teach you the game if you're not going hard. But the kids like that, man, coaches love those kind of kids. Coaches love those kind of kids.
Yeah, man. That's the name of my theme song. Go hard or go home. That's it.
That's it. That's it.
None in between. I'm not an in-between guy.
There's
Either I'm going hard or I'm not doing it at all.
There's no in between. There's no if you're not gonna go hard, why come? Like you wasting everybody's time. Like you wasting everybody's time. Your parents, your coaches, everybody. You wasting everybody's time.
So now you're into the next phase of your life, and you start to play ball overseas. How was that?
Overseas was good. Those are some more of the best times of my life, man. My first year out, I ended up going to Argentina. So one of my teammates at Iona, Tariq Kirksey, he graduated the year before me. He went to Argentina. Then he linked me in with his agent, so I ended up going to play on his team. So I was there for a year. Then I ended up going to I went to Venezuela. I was in DR a few times. Then I went over to Europe. I was in Luxembourg for a few years, and then I spent my last few years in Holland. So man,
how was that? And did you pick up any new languages while you were out there?
Nah, I speak Spanish, but I was lucky because all the cities I went in were big cities. So all the cities I was in, almost everyone spoke English. So I lucked up. Yeah, I lucked up. I always was in big cities.
Yeah, I spoke to Kim Hampton. She was on here. And Kim said she played overseas, I think, 13 years. She speak like 4 or 5 different languages. She was blowing my mind speaking all these languages. I was like, go ahead, girl. Like, do your thing.
So that's kind of one thing I regret not taking advantage of that. Like, I should have picked it up. Like, there was a lot of players over there learning the language. Chuck said I used to come overseas and come to Miami. Yeah, Chuck had me. Not even overseas. When I was in college, Chuck literally had me and my man Tariq in Miami at least once a month. The whole 4 years I was in college, Chuck had me in Miami like once a month.
I need to go to Miami and get the royal treatment by my man Chuck, because I know he owned the city down there, man. Thank you for New York guys, right?
Nah, Chuck
get all the love.
He set it out. He set it out.
Wow.
Respond to this. What's your take on NYC basketball now?
Yeah, that's Mark Petit. That's Mark.
Oh, that's Mark. What's up, Mark?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of talent in New York right now. Like, I don't really like when I hear everybody saying New York is down. It's still a lot of talent in New York. I think the problem right now, it's a lot of politics in New York, and for whatever reason, you get a lot of kids leaving New York. But the PSAL still got some really good talent. The Catholic School always have good talent. So there's still some really good talent in New York, and there's a lot of young guys. So last weekend, again, I was at the unsigned hype games with my son. This weekend, he was at the real skills. So there's still some really good talent out here. Like we have some real good talent in New York. We just need to push these kids more. Like I know Slam just had a tournament out here not too long ago. I saw people in the uproar that it wasn't too many New York kids in it. Like I know they had to fight to get like Jaquan in it. Khalil Brantley played in it. That game could have easily been played with all New York kids. Like when you saw a couple of years ago when they had the New York that summer, that was some great basketball. So New York still.
And then they still jerked New York because they didn't give Khalil Brantley the MVP like they should have.
Yeah, I know.
Come on,
yeah,
fam.
I know.
Listen, I watch all of our guys, and rightfully so. Juan Carlos should have played that. Jaquan Carlos should have played that game, which he did. Had my guy Malachi Smith on that team as well. But come on, man. Like, how you do my guy dirty like that? Yeah, he actually kept people watching that damn game on YouTube.
That's a fact. So again, I don't think the talent is down in New York. We still have a lot of good talent here, man. We just gotta push this talent, man. We gotta highlight these kids. Like these kids out here working hard. We got some really good coaches out here in the PSAL. Like we gotta salute these guys. Like we too busy still trying to fight each other, tearing each other down with all this hating nonsense out here, man. That's the problem is. Talent's not down.
All right, hold on. He never liked to be on camera, but when you said about the guys fighting against each other, not working with each other, my guys, the artist, my resident artist, Jameel Powell, he walked there and he was like, What do you think, man? Gotta say a little something. He don't like to talk on camera too much.
Well, you're right. We do spend a lot of time hating on each other instead of building it together.
Yeah.
We build it together to be a lot stronger. Our foundation in New York.
Appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man. See?
So what I could say, like a lot of guys here, when I started coaching, a lot of these guys here embraced me. I don't know if it's because I knew them from back in the days playing, but even my school, we play in the B division, right? We played almost all of the tournaments that they had in Brooklyn, like all of the AA tournaments we played in. Shout out to my man Will Jackson. He had a tournament last year. He let us play in his tournament. We always played in the Robeson tournament. So we Jeff, they let us come and play in their classic. So they all showed me love. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like as soon as I got the job, Kenny Kings was the first person to call me and gave me advice. Tiny, Tiny, that's Chuck, man. Y'all grew up with Tiny, so Tiny always gave me advice. So Gary Urban, he's coaching now at NAS. So I'm tight with a lot of the coaches here, and we've been talking about trying to do some things in the city for these kids. Rob Phelps, we was talking about Rob earlier. I just spoke to Rob a couple of days ago. I spoke to Rob. So I have a pretty good relationship with most of the coaches, and it seems like most of the coaches now, they're talking about trying to do something because of what's going on with COVID. We don't know what's going to happen this year. So all the coaches are trying to get together to figure out what we're going to do for these kids in these schools. So I think we need more of that. We need more of these coaches coming together trying to, because at the end of the day, the kids are the focus, man. We're doing this for the kids. So if you're not in this for the kids, then we in it for the wrong reasons, man. So we should do whatever we can to put these kids in the best situation we can.
Because this show started out, this show is a high school basketball show. So I people be saying, he interviewed all the OGs and the older guys. But all these older guys went to high school in New York City and made a difference. They just happened to go to college and the NBA or do other things professionally. I didn't want to start with the high school guys because I wanted to get the guys who had the stories first.
Yeah.
Right? The guys who built the foundation, the guys who kind of laid down this PSAL and Catholic School League for us to shine. And a lot of people came before us. Right? Yep. So, you being younger than I am, I'm going to ask you a question. And this is show you a reason why I do this, right? Who won the most championships, city championships in New York City, the PSL?
Tiny.
Tiny is not a high school.
Oh, you talking about what high school? Lincoln.
No. But good try, though. And thank you. I love my school. We the ones who set the foundation, but I love it. No.
Who has more than Lincoln?
It's two schools that have more than Lincoln.
Oh, see, now you teaching me something.
Now, this is one of the reasons why I want to do this show, so we can preserve this history. And we having one of their players on tomorrow. Okay? DeWitt Clinton.
In the Bronx.
Yes. They have 18 city championships.
18?
Yes. Boys and girls have 13 or 14.
Oh, shit. Shout out to Lovelace. I know Love.
No.
Doing things.
Oh, boys and girls have 14 and Lincoln have 13.
Oh, see, I didn't know. I didn't know boys and girls had that many.
Now,
I didn't know
what PSL team put the most pros in the NBA?
I would think. Is it
Say it again. Say it again. Say what you gonna say the first time. Say it again. I know you thinking it.
Lincoln.
Say Lincoln. No. But everybody always say it. But I get it. Everybody always say it, right?
But you know what it is with me? Like, I don't really know too much about.
Yeah, but that's okay. Yo, fam, you don't gotta make no excuses, because I didn't know this shit before I started this show. So don't trust me. I'm learning a lot of this stuff now, right? Because I started this show during COVID, right? When the pandemic was hitting. And I just started to do a lot of research just on my own. No, sorry. No, not Cardoza. Now, boy.
That was my second guess, Cardoza.
No, they're not even in the top 5 when it comes to that. Trust me. So, Clinton put 18 guys in the NBA. Lincoln, it goes Clinton, Thomas Jefferson, Malloy, LaSalle, Lincoln. And it's a tie. And it's a tie between Lincoln and LaSalle.
See, I knew none of this.
This is why we got to preserve our history, bro. The New York City brotherhood that we have, basketball brotherhood, because somebody else would be telling our story and be getting a lot of wrong.
That's a fact. Because if
you know what I'm saying?
I'd have got a lot wrong.
There you go. And people probably forgot that Phil Grant was one of the major players on them Robeson teams.
That's a fact too. That's a fact.
And your players probably look at you like, why we should listen to you? Luckily, it's 3 of y'all coaching, because it's hard for us to convince kids that we were once nice as well. Yeah. And we know what the hell we talking about.
I mean,
they think we from a level planet.
Every now and then I still lace them up. Like, me and my coaches still get out there and lace them up. So my kids, they know.
That's dope.
Yeah, I still lace them up.
You left basketball, and we making another transition. Right? Because when I speak to a lot of guys about their transitions from basketball life to the real world, a lot of them say it was tough. A lot of them said, man, Glenn, I kind of slid right into the workforce. How was it for you?
See, I'm not gonna lie, with me it was pretty easy. So my RIP to my man Sticks, James Williams. Sticks passed a few years ago. Sticks, he gave me my first job. Like, when I first came home, I wasn't doing nothing. I was just chilling, partying all the time. And Sticks, he was the supervisor at a juvenile detention center up in the Bronx. So Sticks, one day I wasn't doing much. So Sticks was like, yo, come, I got a job for you if you want it. So I started working with Sticks. So I did that for about 2 years, juvenile detention center. And then one day I ran into one of my Iona teammates, because Chief Hamid, he's right now the principal at Promise Academy in the Harlem Children's Zone up in Harlem.
Nice.
So
nice.
He pulled me in, and I became the dean there for a year. Yeah, I was only there for a year. So I ended up forming a boys group while I was there. So while I had the boys group, I ended up taking them to an Iona game. So at that Iona game, I ran into D'Artagnan Mixon. D'Artagnan from the X-Men in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yep, so I ran into him, and he's the athletic director of the school I'm at now. So when I saw him, he was like, yo, I'm about to be the AD. He was like, we're looking for a phys ed teacher and a basketball coach. So I jumped on that, and I've been there ever since. So
wow.
It was pretty smooth for me, because all the jobs I got, again, and this goes back from just being a good person, being on good teams. I always made good relationships. So, and people can trust me. So I'm not going to just give anybody a job. If I'm working somewhere, I'm not just pulling anybody in. Because if you come in and fuck up, that's fucking me up. So these people knew I was reliable, I was loyal, they knew I was going to come in and do my job. So they pulled me in, and the rest is history. Like I've been at Summit. At my 6th year at Summit Academy right now.
Wow, that's real. And the fact that you started your boys group, I did that as well in my school at Martin Porres, called the Spear of Influence. And it was before we had any teams. We didn't have anything at our school. The boys group was the first thing that I formed. And then after that, we had teams. We had a track team, we had a football team, and we had a basketball team. And both our JV and our varsity teams won championships as well. So it all starts with you seeing a need for something. And I want to commend you for starting your boys group, because I know what it's like to see a need for something and create something for others.
Can
when
I
they
go
don't
back
have
one
anything.
second, Pooh? Before I respond to that, let me go back. Big Todd just said something. So actually, before that, I got to go back a little bit. So I had my son. I went overseas in 2001. I had my son in 2004. So when I had my son, I came home for a while. And Tyrone Sherrod, who was Mr. T. Sherrod, who was my assistant coach at Robeson, he's the principal at Harlem Children's. What was the HTC? Not Harlem Children's. I forgot what Holy Trinity Community School in Queens. That was my first teaching job. So I was home, and Ty called me. He gave me a job first. So my bad, Ty. That was my first teaching experience at Holy Trinity. So that's where I started at. And then once I finished, I went back to playing after 2 years. Once my son turned 2, I went back to playing. And when I stopped, that's when I came back and joined Summit. Okay,
definitely.
And also to what you were just saying about the boys group. Also now, Nikki Loves Tim. That's like my sister right there, Nicole Briggs. She also another Robeson product. So she just started a nonprofit. How am I drawing a blank? Life Empowerment, right? Life Empowered.
Got you.
So I'm on the board of her nonprofit. So we do a lot of community work now. Like the next event coming up the day before Thanksgiving, where we're gonna feed a bunch of families, not homeless families, anyone who's hungry. We're gonna feed them. We just had a book bag giveaway not too long ago. She also runs a basketball tournament in Brooklyn in 309 Park. We just changed it.
Yeah. I went there to support it right before she had the back to school joint.
Yep, right before the back to school joint.
Yep.
So yeah, we're doing now. We have a nonprofit where that's all we're catering to. We're not even just kids. We're helping families. Like we're helping families do whatever it takes for them, like supporting them in any way to help their kids. So again, we're doing a lot of community work. Like this, not just like I'm not just like a basketball player or coach. Like we out here like doing things trying to change our community.
Listen, if you need some help for that pre-Thanksgiving giveaway, holla at your boy. I'll come out there and put in some work, man. Whatever you need me to do, fam, I'm with that.
I definitely appreciate it.
No doubt.
Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Big E Williams, Best Style Brooklyn. So that's another Robeson guy. He went to Syracuse, then he ended up going to UMass. Right now, he's a part of my staff at Summit Academy. He's also the head JV coach. So shout out to Big E.
I'm getting all the Robeson guys. I need to get my guy Alan Griffen on here as well, because I knew him ever since he was in 8th grade.
That's my guy right there. AG is my guy. Yeah,
good brother.
Pop up on here yet, but yeah, AG is my guy.
Definitely. So definitely got to hit him up and let him know. So keep the camera down so your whole face can show. Yes.
Yeah, my bad. I'm at my mom's house, so I'm sitting there holding my phone. So my bad.
Yeah, and when I put your name up, you probably gonna have it going all over the place. So don't worry about it. We'll get it straight.
All right.
Now, where we at? Now the city, as we know, we got a few good programs we just mentioned, right? We talked about the historical schools, the city championships. What are you doing right now to put your team and your school in that same vein?
Well, I just finished practicing with my guys today. We was up practicing today. So a couple of weeks ago, we were shout out to my guy Eddie Lau over at Murray Bertram. He had a guy. We were out in the parks playing. Like we've been making best of it. Like we've had our guys in the parks playing. We work out in 309 Park. So we just doing whatever we can to keep our guys busy. Like we're doing whatever we can to keep our guys busy. I'm also one of the coaches for Love of the Game Elite. is an AAU program that some of my guys play with. So all last month we were still traveling with AAU. So again, we're just doing whatever we could. Like we gotta be creative right now, man. Like especially it's good that we've been having this good weather, so we've been able to get these kids in the park and working these kids out in the park, doing conditioning. Like we're just doing whatever we can right now to keep these guys engaged, keep them active, keep them working.
Yeah, and I know Eric Hicks at Game Over. He's my sponsor for the show. I know they've been running some scrimmage games and stuff of that nature. So they were doing that the last couple of weeks. So yeah, that's get some good run out there
That's
and
at
see
the
some
Star
good
Dome,
game.
right? The Star Dome.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, that's at the Star Dome. So
Definitely.
So yeah, Rob called me about that last weekend, but I couldn't make it last weekend because I was with my son out of town. So, but yeah, I think we're actually going to play in that this weekend. If they have it again this weekend, we're going to play in that as well.
Definitely, and let me know because I'm there most weekends.
Okay.
How does your team look this year?
We're young, so my son's a junior this year. He's the oldest kid I have. I also he's the oldest kid I have. But we're young, but we have some good talent. We got some pretty good young talent. Like we should definitely still be competitive in the B division. Like so, we have some pretty good young talent. So and my son right now, he's the leader of the team, being a junior, the only junior on the team. So we should be okay. We should be okay. Like I just get to the gym consistently.
Okay, it said fitness made personally. NYC said, "What's your take on AAU?"
Shout out to my cousin Jahar.
Oh, Jahar, what up, Jahar?
Yeah, that's my cousin right there.
Okay.
My take on AAU. So I think AAU is necessary. It's definitely necessary for these kids to be able to play. But what I think these AAU coaches and these high school coaches need to work more together instead of trying. Like you get these coaches now that they try to act like these kids are their property. They try to treat these kids like their property. Like it's like everybody's fighting over who's going to have control over the kid when we should all be working together to put these kids in the best situation. So again, I don't think AAU is necessary. Are there, like a lot of people complain about there's too many AAU teams, but I don't agree with that because some kids, everybody's not going to be able to play for the Lightning, the Wrens, all the top teams. So you need somewhere for the other kids to play, like the middle of the pack kids or some of the lower level kids. It's not fair to everybody's not going to make the major teams or sponsored teams. So I think it's good that these kids still have other places to play. So I mean, I like the AAU circuit.
And there are more kids. There are more kids in the middle of the pack than the kids that's on the top level.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
People need to realize that.
Exactly.
There's definitely a need for that.
Place to play. Like the top kids are going to go to the top programs. That's a given. But we can't leave everybody else out. So I think we need a lot of these programs because these kids need a place to play.
All right, Coach. Here's your basketball head test. Top 5 players in New York City history.
History?
History.
See, I don't even go.
It don't have to be mine. It don't have to be mine. This is yours.
All right. So I'm gonna go with what I've seen. Like I know about the history, but I'm not gonna really name players I haven't seen. So
yeah, that's it. We actually your top 5.
So I'm going with Steph, number 1, hands down. Steph's the best player I've seen in New York City, hands down.
Got you.
Felipe is a really, really close second. Felipe
Woo!
Lopez really
I haven't heard his name mentioned since Terrence Richard said he busted his ass. Salute Felipe Lopez.
I don't know. So people forget what Felipe was, man, in high school. Felipe was tough, man.
Yes.
L.O., Lamar Odom. Lamar was a problem.
Hold on. Let me tell you. Lamar Odom is one of the reasons why basketball heads exist. And I'm going to tell you. When he went on Nori's show on Drink Champs, and the way they did my man on that show, I said, we need a place for New York City Brotherhood the same way Nori has his show for his hip-hop brotherhood. We need a place for our basketball brother and sisterhood, for people who feel safe to come on the show and speak their piece. So you can finish with your last 2.
Shamel Jones at Robeson. Shamel was definitely one of the best players I've seen in New York City. That he's another one. I don't think people realize how good Shamel was. Like Shamel, he played in the Magic Round Ball Classic with Kobe Bryant his senior year in high school. Shamel was a monster. Hello.
We definitely need to tell. He definitely need to tell a story one day.
Yeah.
Let him know whenever you're ready. All right.
All right. Who I'm gonna go with for this fifth one? See, I didn't want to be biased, but I got to. I got to go with AG, with Alan Griffen.
Okay.
I got to go with AG, man. I got to go with my Robeson guys.
Now, I want to make it real tough for you. Top 5 Robeson players.
Top 5 Robeson? Shamel, AG. That's top 2 easy. Gary Irvin. Mel, AG, Gary Irvin. See, this way it start to get tough. At these last 3 is where it gets tough. Those are the
yo, brother. This is why I said it. We asked the tough questions. Only the tough basketball questions, though.
Mel, AG, Gary. I gotta throw Todd in there because again, Todd was a game changer. Todd was one of the first big point guards out here, so I gotta go with Todd Myles.
Well, in your era, definitely.
Gotta go with Todd Myles. I can't put myself in it. So
why not?
I mean,
yo, a lot of people don't put themselves in their top 5. Trust me. Go watch some of the shows.
Then yeah, I gotta throw myself in there. I gotta get that last spot. I gotta get that last spot. MG. Man, I could have went with Malcolm. Like we had Robeson. We got a long history. We got a lot of players, man.
Definitely.
We got a lot of players at Robeson.
What are your thoughts on reclassing back?
So you know what? Initially, I wasn't really a fan of it, but I think now it's like because it is like the norm now. The kids who don't reclass is like they're kind of at a disadvantage because they're playing against kids, especially on the AAU circuit. Like you can be a sophomore in high school and you're playing against 17, 18-year-olds on the AAU circuit. So it's kind of like everyone is doing it. Again, I never was a fan of it, but even now I'm not really a fan of it. But I'm starting to understand why a lot of kids do it because it
doesn't guarantee success.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And I think that's a misconception that a lot of these kids have. They think reclassing, but it doesn't. It doesn't guarantee success. Like BG said, it's the new normal. So like even if you're against it, it's like you can't really fight it because that's the new normal. All the kids are doing it now. Again, I'm not really a fan, but I understand it more now. Like
I get you, man.
Like I get if a kid is you get some kids who are on the borderline. You know, some kids who might have been late bloomers. Some kids who didn't get the exposure. Maybe they were at schools where they didn't get the exposure that they needed. So maybe they might need another year at another school in another situation. So I mean, I understand it. Like I'm not as against it now as I used to be because now I understand a little more of the politics and the business behind it. So I do kind of understand it now.
Understandably so, and respect that. Definitely. Definitely. The reason why I asked for back, because the dude that reclass up, it's cool. I just want to hear what yours was on the guys who do it the back way.
I always thought it was corny. Like I really always thought it was corny, like guys going back. But now I understand, like kids, for whatever reasons, some kids need an extra year, whether it's to get their grades better, whether it's develop their bodies more, develop their games more. Some kids might just need that extra year. So again, I'm not against it anymore. Like I never was a fan of it, but now in these past year or two, like I'm starting to understand more. Like I would never advise it, but I understand it.
How long before you guys in the AA?
I wanted to go to the A this year. Like last year, I was mad because I knew we had the championship last year, man. Like we were in the semifinals before everything stopped with COVID. So I already had in my head, win, lose, or draw, I was going to the A this year. But because even last year, we played against a lot of tough A schools, and we beat most of them. Like most of the A schools we played last year, we beat. So I thought we were ready. Like I didn't really know what I was going to have coming back this year besides my son and a couple other young kids. But I wanted to be in the A. Like I want to get to the highest level that I could coach at.
So let's say this. 2025. Next year, you know, they move y'all to the B. Y'all get to the A. Y'all destroy the A. Hopefully, Banneker and Bedford Academy have moved on to the double A. And you guys can come in, dominate the A, then move to the double A, and then work your way from there.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like, that's the goal. Like, that's my goal right now.
Because from getting to know you, knowing what your uncle, done told me about you, and getting to know you personally, just on a one-on-one, hearing some of the things that you did, I see a bright future in front of you, my brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean,
No
I
doubt.
push these kids, man. I do it for the love. Like, this is what I love to do. Like, I love the kid. First and foremost, I love helping, like, our young Black boys. Like, these kids need help, especially these boys. And so that's why I got into first with the juvenile detention center, then with teaching, then with coaching, just because I think they need to see more positive Black men guiding them.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times these kids, they just need a voice, man. Like, just somebody to talk to, show them different, especially somebody coming from where they from. Like, I tell you, it's nothing that you're going through that you've seen. I'm from the projects too. Like, I seen everything you've seen, everything you're going through, I lived through. So I can relate to these kids. Like, even teaching now, like, some of these teachers, you get teachers coming in our neighborhoods from wherever. A lot of teachers from Long Island coming in, never really been around our kids and
Don't
really know
understand. Yeah.
they don't understand it. They don't understand our kids. So that's why you get, like, somebody like me, my classes run so smooth because I tell these teachers, sometimes you just got to be a human being with these kids. Like, let the kids come in, crack a couple of jokes every while. Just show them that you're a regular person just like them. You care about these kids. And it's the same thing with coaching. Like, there's a bunch of different ways you can reach these kids. So I think this is my way of trying to reach the kids. Because, again, my Mage changed my life. My high school coach is who's changed my life. So hopefully I'll change a couple of lives on the way doing what I'm doing.
Well, man, you sound like a younger me, man. It seems like you found your purpose, young man. So I'm definitely proud of you, brother. For sure.
I appreciate it.
For sure. So we come to the end of the show where we ask our guests to nominate someone. But you have such a long list of people that you need to get in the show, right? So you can, say it to the world now, or you can hit me up later. Either way. But trust me, you got a long list, my brother. Because if you miss one, I'm going to hit you up with some more.
All right.
All right?
All right. I definitely appreciate it. I definitely appreciate the opportunity just to get on this platform and tell my story. Like, I definitely appreciate that. I definitely appreciate it.
Nah, my brother. Even if Chuck wasn't your uncle, you would have still been on here. Right?
Thank you.
But that just makes the love even more because he's my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes us all brothers, fam. That's right.
No, I appreciate it.
Keep doing what you're doing. Let me know.
Somebody said Shamel Jones too, but yeah, Mel.
Oh yeah, listen.
Great story.
Listen, trust me. My man Mark been telling me about Shamel for a long time. I know about Shamel. Shamel from the neighborhood. Trust me. I definitely know. I just want to hear from his mouth.
Oh no, I'm
definitely.
definitely let Shamel know. I'm definitely let Shamel know as soon as I hang up. Like, Shamel needs to get on here and tell his story. And even now, Shamel does a great job with these kids right now. Like, Shamel does a great job with these kids right now.
Right.
He definitely needs to tell his story.
Well, I got something for you, brother. For sure. I got something special for you, man.
Y'all ready?
Oh, shit. Yo.
Oh,
let me not even say nothing. God damn, yo. My boy getting better and better.
That's what he was doing just now in the background?
Yeah, that's all he was doing.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, he just did that just now?
That's what my man do, man.
Yo, that's crazy right there. That's crazy. Oh, that's dope right there. That's dope. I just moved, so I'm gonna hang that up on my wall.
He got your Hall of Fame. Yo, he got your beard. He got your beard looking nice, man. Look, got the lapel. You were sharp that day at the Hall of Fame, fam. Look at that jump shot, fam. It's crazy.
He got my form and everything. That's still my form to this day. That's dope right there. That's dope. Thank you.
No doubt, man. No doubt, man. It's all love.
No, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Let me know. I come over to the school, drop it off to you. Let me know when you're there. You outside, 309. Just hit me up, say, yo, Pooh, I'm in the neighborhood, and we'll make that happen.
I definitely will, Pooh. I appreciate it.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, young brother.
Good. Thanks for having me, Pooh.
No doubt, man. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, later.
All right.